You know, you walk into a modern conference room and you see a basic electrical outlet on the wall. And you probably don't give it a second thought, right? It's just a piece of plastic with some holes in it. Purely functional.
Yeah, completely utilitarian. I mean, we just expect things like that to be cheap and, well, entirely boring.
But the source material we are diving into today completely shatters that assumption. We're doing a deep dive into a spec sheet from HDTVSupply for the QSC unD6IO AtteroTech audio wall plate. And it costs $1,240.
Right, for something that physically looks to be about the size of a standard double light switch.
Exactly. So our mission today is to figure out why, because this unassuming little square actually represents a massive digital revolution hiding right inside the drywall.
Yeah, and to understand why a wall plate is worth over $1,000, you first have to understand the nightmare it cures. Traditionally, running professional audio through a building meant dealing with endless, heavy analog cables.
Oh yeah, like a hopeless tangled drawer of old chargers and cables. And analog cables are basically giant antennas for interference, right?
Yeah.
The longer the run, the more the audio signal degrades.
Exactly. You pick up hums and buzzes, and you end up needing these bulky power supplies scattered everywhere.
Right, which is just physical chaos. But this device fits right into what electricians call a two-gang US Decora junction box, which again is just the size of a double light switch, so it acts as a digital funnel to stop all that chaos.
It really does. And getting rid of those bulky power supplies and those long analog cable runs, well, that's exactly why professional installers value this form factor so much.
But what really caught my eye in the specs is how it stops it. It relies on Dante audio networking.
Yeah, Dante's a real game changer here. But, it can be a tricky concept to visualize if you aren't an audio engineer.
Let me take a stab at it. Think of traditional analog audio, like water flowing through a very leaky pipe. It's continuous, but it loses pressure and picks up dirt along the way.
That's a great way to put it.
Thanks. So Dante essentially turns that water into ice cubes. It takes pristine audio, chops it up into tiny digital data packets, and sends them speeding down a standard Ethernet cable, like the exact same Cat5e wire you'd use for your internet router.
Right, and because it's packetized data, it doesn't degrade. Plus, because it's digital, it moves incredibly fast. The specs show a minimum network latency of just 1 millisecond.
1 millisecond, wow.
Yeah, the human ear can't even perceive a delay that small. But the other crucial mechanism here is how this plate actually gets its power.
Right, it uses power over Ethernet, or PoE, which is a common trick in IT, but applying it to studio-grade audio is so clever. I mean, wait, we are sending high-fidelity audio and electrical power over the exact same basic internet cable.
We absolutely are. An everyday Ethernet cable actually has multiple twisted pairs of copper wire inside. Data doesn't need to use all of them, so PoE sends the electrical juice down those unused lanes.
And it uses less than 5.5 watts for the specific unit, right? So you don't even need to hire an electrician to wire a dedicated power plug.
Exactly. Standardizing the physical level to basic Ethernet means pristine audio just piggybacks on the IT infrastructure the building already has.
Yeah.
You bypass the need for a specialized, standalone audio grid entirely.
Okay, so you have this one everyday network cable hiding in the wall, doing all the heavy lifting. But looking at the front of the plate, what can the user actually plug into it?
Yeah.
Because the input density is, well, it's really packed.
Oh, it really is. You've got RCA jacks, a 3.5 millimeter input and output for standard devices, and 2 balanced XLR inputs.
Which handle professional microphones, right?
Yep. And they even provide what's called phantom power.
Okay, so phantom power, that means sending a tiny electrical current back up the microphone cable to power higher-end condenser mics. Again, pulling all of that from a single Ethernet cable in the wall.
That's wild, I know.
But here's the detail that really made me pause. There are absolutely no physical knobs on this thing. No volume dials, no gain control. Which brings me to my favorite question. So what does this all mean for the person actually running the sound system?
Well, they're gone by design. The audio gain, which goes from -18 to +40 decibels, and the volume, they are controlled entirely through software.
Specifically the Q-SYS ecosystem, right?
Exactly. So if you're the sound engineer running a massive corporate event, you don't have to sprint over to the wall plate to adjust the volume or, fiddle with a massive physical mixing board in the back of the room.
That is so convenient.
It really is. Hardware control is now fully decentralized. You can sit with your laptop anywhere on the building's network and remotely manage the audio flow. You can tweak the levels and switch on that phantom power.
So when you factor in that level of control, plus the 6-year warranty you get upon registration, The $1,240 price tag actually makes total sense.
It completely shifts how you think about the infrastructure surrounding you.
Hmm.
Because like you said, it's not a plastic wall plate. It's a miniaturized, networked digital audio hub.
It really does. And wrapping up this deep dive, it leaves you with a pretty wild thought to chew on.
Oh, what's that?
Well, if a basic everyday Ethernet cable can now seamlessly power and transmit professional studio-grade audio with zero noticeable delay, what other heavily wired physical industries are about to be completely swallowed by standard IT networks? Keep that in mind the next time you walk past a boring electrical outlet.